Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech Debate Edition, where we have a thoughtful debate illuminating different perspectives on today's topic. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating and sometimes, perplexing world of artificial intelligence investment. We're going to explore the compelling parallels between the current AI market and the infamous dot-com bubble, and, what this all means for how businesses approach AI. Specifically, we're talking about their build versus buy strategies for implementing AI agents.
Right. And our central question today is really this. Is the current AI market, which is, marked by this intense investment, but also these very clear warnings of a bubble, is it inevitably pushing enterprises towards solely acquiring prepackaged AI agent solutions?
Exactly. Or does a critical need for in-house AI development still persist for those truly complex differentiating tasks? And just for clarity, when we say AI agents here, we're talking about specialized, autonomous software things designed to perform specific, outcome-oriented tasks. Could be anything from customer service to legal analysis, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be making the argument that yes, the market is indeed showing bubble characteristics, and this financial reality is driving a necessary shift towards outcome-based, prepackaged AI agent solutions for enterprises, really emphasizing a buy model.
And I'll be contending that while, a bubble certainly seems to exist, the inherent complexity and, frankly, the diverse needs of AI applications mean enterprises will continue to invest significantly in developing and customizing AI solutions internally. They won't exclusively be relying on off-the-shelf agents.
Okay, so let me kick things off. The current AI landscape absolutely echoes the dot-com bubble. And that's not just, my observation. Bret Taylor, a true veteran of the tech industry, now chairman of OpenAI, he's explicitly stated this. He said, absolutely, yes, I've given this analogy before, a lot of parallels to the internet bubble. Now, he acknowledges that while huge amounts of economic value will undoubtedly be created, there's also the stark reality that, and I quote, a lot of people will lose a lot of money. This economic pressure, it's not just a side note, it's a fundamental force compelling businesses to focus relentlessly on clear, measurable value from their AI investments.
Right, the ROI pressure.
Exactly. And this focus, in my view, is what's driving enterprises towards AI agents sold on an outcome-based business model. Think about Sierra, for example. They charge only when their AI agent autonomously resolves a customer case. If it has to transfer to a human, it's free. That kind of model inherently ensures demonstrable return on investment, or ROI. It's a fundamental reallocation of innovation risk, really compelling vendors to truly prove value. And Sierra's success with large enterprise brands, we're talking 50% with over $1 billion in revenue, 20% over $10 billion, that validates this. These huge companies aren't just dabbling, they're seeking to solve big problems with clear, quantifiable value, like, say, improving customer retention by a full percentage point, that's 100 basis points, or reducing churn by 5%, 500 basis points. The market, it seems, is fundamentally shifting, moving away from enterprises laboring to build complex software internally towards simply buying sophisticated solutions from these specialized applied AI companies that deliver guaranteed results.
Okay, look, I absolutely acknowledge the compelling parallels to the dot-com bubble and the wisdom in both Sam Altman's and Bret Taylor's assessment that a lot of people will lose a lot of money. The speculative nature of some investments is pretty undeniable. However, I guess I come at it from a slightly different angle. I don't believe this market dynamic unilaterally pushes all enterprises into a buy-only paradigm for AI. Taylor himself offers a critical nuance that I think sometimes gets overlooked. He points out that while technologies like retrieval-augmented generation, or RAG, where AI consults external knowledge bases for more accurate answers, or basic Q&A, those are becoming commodities. But the truly complex challenges? They lie elsewhere. He specifically mentions things like sophisticated guardrails around a regulated process, Think health insurance or a banking, or achieving really precise multilingual transcription accuracy, especially for critical stuff like account numbers. I mean, these are not trivial off-the-shelf problems that you can just go out and buy from a vendor today.
Not today, perhaps.
What exactly? And furthermore, Taylor very tellingly notes that, quote, there isn't yet a wonderful vendor for every problem that you have in your business. Now, that implies that for highly specialized, strategic, or, truly unique applications where no mature buy solution currently exists, enterprises aren't just sitting on their hands. They must still invest in internal development or deep customization or maybe pioneering partnerships. For those truly transformative initiatives where the solution is the competitive edge, well, the market still requires some enterprises to build because no buy solution can adequately address their distinct and complex challenges. The sheer difficulty and the bespoke nature of solving these cutting-edge problems means a significant chunk of enterprise AI work is just going to remain internal and require substantial effort.
I appreciate you emphasizing the nuance. And look, it's true that not every single problem has an off-the-shelf solution today. But I think that time frame is shrinking, like really rapidly. And the economic pressures of a potential bubble, they only accelerate the shift towards what can be bought. Let's double down on this inevitable shift to outcome-based pricing and buy solutions. This model, where payment is tied directly to successful task completion by an AI agent, it really is a game changer. It aligns incentives perfectly between the vendor and the customer. It incentivizes a job well done, right? And transparency and value. My perspective is that this model is basically destined to become the standard, much like subscription services utterly transformed how we consume software.
Okay.
Think about it. When a company can buy Sierra to solve customer experience problems or buy Harvey for legal analysis, they are procuring proven solutions with a guaranteed outcome. They're not embarking on these unpredictable internal development projects that, let's be honest, historically often fail to deliver measurable ROI. It's about risk transfer. As Taylor described, the complexity of internally tending to software, dealing with everything from accounting standards to security patches, ongoing maintenance, it just makes buying a far more attractive and financially sound option for enterprises, especially in a capital-constrained or, frankly, risk-averse environment. Why build if someone else has already proven they can deliver the outcome you need?
That's a compelling argument for, yes, well-defined functional areas. And I agree, for many common business processes, buying a proven solution makes perfect sense, of course. However, I believe it doesn't encompass the full spectrum of enterprise AI needs. While outcome-based pricing is undeniably appealing for certain things like customer support, the value proposition changes dramatically for truly transformative initiatives. What about, say, discovering new drug therapies, or autonomously writing complex proprietary software that actually defines a company's competitive edge? In these cases, the value isn't simply a resolved case. It's about creating fundamental intellectual property, building unique capabilities that just can't be commoditized.
But are they building the models of the application?
Well, they're building the application using advanced models, often in novel ways. These high-stakes areas, they often demand deep integration with proprietary systems, handling sensitive data with extreme customization, and specialized model fine-tuning that goes way beyond what a standard agent solution can provide. Taylor acknowledged, yeah, if you could write your own ERP system, it might not be a good idea given the complexity. But this is different. We're talking about unique, strategic AI solutions that could redefine a business entirely. The market still requires some enterprises to build where no buy solution can adequately address their distinct, often secret and complex challenges. How do you apply outcome-based pricing to the invention of a new molecule, for instance? The very nature of innovation, especially differentiating innovation, kind of dictates a build approach for competitive advantage.
Okay, I understand the allure of building for truly cutting-edge proprietary IP. I do. However, even in those cases, the fundamental models are arguably becoming commodities or at least infrastructural components. Let's pivot to that point, the commodification of models versus the need for specialized AI expertise. You pointed out that Alex Heath initially suggested models are becoming commodified,
And while Taylor directly disagreed on the degree of commodification across all tasks, his clarification is crucial here. He emphasized that the step change in model performance is highly task-dependent, right? He cited GPT-5's potential dramatic improvement for coding as a significant leap, while something like vacation planning might only see slightly better results.
Right, the task dependency is key. It is. But my argument is that while some tasks see greater step changes than others, the underlying principle Taylor articulated remains. Applied AI companies shouldn't pre-train models. The future, as he sees it, is an ecosystem of models, where practitioners like Sierra or Harvey leverage these foundational models as pieces of infrastructure. For most enterprises, the analogy to databases really holds. They need to know how to use AI effectively, not necessarily how to write the underlying models or continually re-engineer them from scratch. The ability to abstract away that model complexity through well-designed platforms lets enterprises focus on their core business problems. If sufficient intelligence is reached for a vast number of business processes, and I think it is, or is getting there very quickly, then buying prepackaged solutions built on this infrastructure becomes not just economically sound, but strategically the smarter choice.
You buy the outcome, not the ingredient, essentially.
That's an interesting point about the ecosystem of models. And I definitely agree that most enterprises don't need to be training their own huge foundational models. That seems clear. However, I believe that distinction between using infrastructure and needing expertise is critical for this build versus buy debate. For enterprises seeking to apply AI to those highly complex, specialized tasks like autonomous software generation, drug discovery, advanced scientific research, even with powerful foundational models available, they require the most powerful and evolving models, not just commoditized ones that might be a generation behind. Relying purely on commoditized or even slightly older, off-the-shelf agents built on more generic models would likely be insufficient for these frontier applications. As Taylor implied, the perception of how big a step change these models bring will increasingly be a function of how complex a problem you're trying to solve with them.
Okay.
And for those truly complex problems, the latest models still need significant specialized expertise to implement, integrate, and frankly, to get the most out of them. These high-value applications often necessitate internal teams with deep AI expertise. They might need to engage in fine-tuning those advanced models with proprietary data or developing novel application architectures around them, not just, plugging into a generic agent. It's not about pre-training, you're right, but it is about deeply leveraging and tailoring the most advanced capabilities to a specific, unique challenge. For instance, what happens when GPT-5 does come out and dramatically shifts coding capabilities? An enterprise building a next-gen autonomous coding agent internally would be arguably uniquely positioned to integrate that rapidly, whereas an off-the-shelf solution might lag or not be customizable enough.
I see your point regarding the speed of integration for the absolute cutting-edge models, but I might argue that specialized applied AI companies are often better positioned to integrate those foundational model advancements quickly across many clients. I mean, that's their entire focus, their core competency. But let's maybe move on to the MIT report you mentioned, the one about AI tourism and the path to real ROI. Honestly, I'm not entirely convinced by the broad conclusions drawn from that report, which found, much AI spend wasn't seeing results. I believe it's fundamentally flawed because it seems to have conflated people building their own software with AI and buying solutions off the shelf. That distinction, to me, is paramount.
Explain that.
Well, companies attempting AI tourism, you know what I mean, those performative, in-house AI projects without clear solutions or demonstrable outcomes, they are indeed struggling and often failing. And it's due to what Taylor aptly termed the glacial amount of complexity involved. It's almost like burning money on a whiteboard, as a VC friend once put it to me. It reflects that classic bubble mentality, chasing hype without substance. But in stark contrast, you have companies like Sierra boasting a 100% success rate with our customers, doing a proof of concept and going live. Why? Because, as they put it, they are not selling AI, we're selling customer experience. The success of companies deploying Harvey for legal analysis or Sierra for customer support demonstrates pretty clearly that when enterprises buy solutions, they achieve tangible results. To me, this proves that the buy model is the more reliable and frankly more responsible path to ROI in a turbulent AI market, especially with the shadow of a potential bubble looming large.
Okay, while I agree completely that AI tourism is a significant risk, and yes, buying proven solutions offers a clearer path to ROI for certain well-defined problems, I think the MIT report also implicitly highlights a crucial, maybe uncomfortable point: the market's current lack of maturity. If, as Taylor himself admitted, there isn't yet a wonderful vendor for every problem that you have in your business, then many enterprises are simply left with no real choice but to explore building or doing extensive customization. The difficulties encountered in these internal projects, though, costly and often frustrating, aren't solely a failure of strategy or just an indulgence in tourism. They are also a reflection of the nascent stage of applied AI. It's hard.
So you're saying the failures are necessary?
Well, maybe not necessary, but perhaps an unavoidable part of the maturation process. These challenges, while undoubtedly expensive, also contribute to market maturation. They represent the bleeding edge where enterprises are, sometimes painstakingly, figuring out what problems AI can actually solve and how. This effort often leads to the very innovations that will eventually be productized by the applied AI companies offering those solutions tomorrow. So it suggests a kind of necessary, albeit often inefficient, phase of enterprise engagement that just cannot be entirely supplanted by off-the-shelf agents alone, at least not yet. You could even argue that the current bubble, in part, is funding this very exploratory phase that is essential for future buy options to even exist for more complex problems.
So, wrapping up my side, my position remains pretty clear. The current AI investment climate, with its unmistakable bubble characteristics, will compel enterprises to prioritize demonstrable value, and that means shifting decisively towards outcome-based, prepackaged AI agent solutions for core business functions. They'll increasingly leverage specialized vendors, offloading the immense complexity and risk of internal development. The economic pressures, the absolute need for clear ROI, and the growing maturity of these specialized buy solutions, well, they're going to drive this shift in a profound way. It's really about smart allocation of resources in what feels like a volatile market.
And I'll conclude by saying that while, yes, the buy model for AI agents will certainly expand, probably become the dominant approach for many common problems, the ongoing need for highly customized, deeply integrated, or truly cutting-edge AI for unique and complex enterprise challenges means that internal development and specialized expertise will remain absolutely critical. This is especially true until the applied AI market fully matures to offer robust solutions for every niche and frontier problem, which, as Bret Taylor himself noted, it doesn't yet. Innovation, particularly the kind that provides a real competitive advantage, often begins with building something bespoke before it can ever possibly be bought.
Indeed. And I think we both agree that the AI market is evolving at an incredible pace. It presents both immense opportunities and significant risks, making it a fascinating time to watch it all unfold. The interplay between these economic pressures, the breathtaking speed of technological advancement, and the practical, diverse needs of enterprises, well, it will continue to shape this build versus buy decision for AI for years to come. There's certainly much, much more to explore within this material.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed this debate, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech debates.